Are we likely to see another pandemic, but of a similar magnitude?
I think, Dr. Bill, that's why it's so important that we really are doing honest reflection on how unprepared we still are. I mean, I think if you just watch the monkeypox experience, once again, that was approached more like an academic exercise rather than a public health response exercise. And so now we are going to have monkeypox with us for the rest of time. I think there's no doubt that we're going to have another pandemic. And I call it the Great Pandemic. And I don't say this lightly. When I went to be CDC director, one of the reasons I did it, I felt called as a virologist, and I think our nation's a great threat for what I'll call a bird flu pandemic. And I think we still are at great risk for that, and we're very unprepared in many different ways, and we need to get prepared. I've always said in my congressional testimonies that I believe the national security of the United States is much more threatened by the next pandemic than it is China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran, and we ought to prepare for it proportionally. And it's not going to segregate between young and children and teenagers and young adults and midlife and old. It's going to have a mortality rate across the board. Whether that mortality rate's 5% or 10% or higher, it's going to be there. And that's why we have to be vigilant about getting prepared so that we can confront this pandemic in a much more effective way than we confronted this.